Welcome to El Profe's Classroom. Classes in session. And we're gonna be continuing on again with The Road to the Oscars, Part 5. And for today's film, we're gonna be watching a very interesting film, way different than the previous films we've touched upon, which are Frankenstein, F1, Marty Supreme, and the other one I can't remember, and Sinners. Those are more action driven, not action driven, more hectic, they move faster. Hamnet, on the other hand, is a much more contemplative film. It's written by Maggie O'Farrell. She wrote the book this film was based on, and she also worked as the screenwriter along with Chloé Zhao, director of the film. If you've never heard of the name Chloé Zhao, she did the film Nomadland, which is an incredible film. But she also did Eternals, which I was not very hot on, but I never understood why they got Zhao to make Eternals a Marvel film. It never really made any sense because her films, they bask on the silence and on the softer side. It's not that uh, strong or complex things aren't happening in the film or to the characters, but the way she films things, the way the characters move, the way they talk, the way the music, the score is played, it's all very it's more down tune, I guess. It's more laid back, not laid back. I don't want to say that. It's more on the not as energetic, I would say. So if slower films aren't your thing, this might be one to skip. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell you to give it a shot because this film is a very interesting one. It stars Jessie Buckley. She's an Irish actress. She's done a lot of basically TV or series. And one of the it guys of the moment, Paul Mescal. He did After Sun and All of Us Strangers and Gladiator 2. Also, to the side, if you haven't seen All of Us Strangers, you should watch that film because it blew my mind. Anyways, uh, so basically, Hamnet tells the story of Agnes and William Shakespeare, played by Buckley and Mescal, and it basically it tells the story of how it came to be that Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. Notice the similarities, Hamnet and Hamlet. Apparently, in there was no difference really. Hamlet and Hamnet are interchangeable back in those days. So Hamnet is the Agnes and William's son who passes away, and this film, all it does is give us. I mean, all it does. That's so oversimplifying it, but what it does is to give us how both of these characters, how their grief process is it goes on. Um, Agnes is a more charismatic, a more she wears her heart on her sleeve. She'll tell you what she thinks. She doesn't care about what people think about her. She's sort of a, I guess they would call her like sort of like a witch or somebody who heals with plants and stuff like that. She's more of a wild woman, as they would call her in those days. she has her own way of thinking, and she won't settle for anybody who doesn't, fall in that, uh, with what she thinks, um, or doesn't let her think the way that she thinks. And William is a more thoughtful, not thoughtful. I guess he's more of an introspective person, I would say. Uh, so the way they both grieve is totally different. Um, it's while one might scream and yell and curse at the world, but at the same time they had they have to take care of the other children, while also at the same time Shakespeare is having his career as a dramatist, back in London. They're both living far away from each other, so that also has its toll. And it's how firstly how they both grieve, and how they come to understand their grief process. And it's a very gorgeous film. It's shot beautifully. The set design, the costume design, it's you really feel like you're in that period. And those last 15 minutes are, I think it's probably like 15 minutes. It's one of the strongest bits of filmmaking of 2025, I would say. So I would really suggest you watch it. uh, I think I think it's a very interesting story. I'm not sure how much of it is actually um, real, but because it's based on a novel. But I don't know how much of that novel really made it to the film, or how much it took in terms of liberty with when it comes to Shakespeare's life. But I think you should see it. I think it's I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, and it's on VOD right now. So rent it and watch it. You might be surprised. This is one of those films that probably was one of the films that I wasn't as interested in watching, but probably the one that I'll be thinking about the most when all is said and done. So give it a watch. Let me know what you think. Um, are you a Shakespeare fan? What's your favorite Shakespeare play? Let me know. I was a huge fan of Hamlet, actually, when I read it back in high school, and then I read it a couple of times later. So let me know what you think. Now, class dismissed.